ever wonder why some people get raises what seems like effortlessly and the rest of us are kept waiting? We're going to fix that. What if asking for a raise could actually feel good instead of feeling terrifying, which mostly it does? The secret to getting a raise isn't about working harder. It's about making your value so obvious and so appreciated that they want to give you a raise so they can keep you. At the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to set yourself up for a raise and actually get it. You'll be able to talk about your value in a way that allows your boss to be able to say yes, and you'll have a simple strategy for gathering proof of the impact you're having and the value that you're adding for others. So just to get us on the same page, asking for a raise does not make it magically appear, but you can stack the odds in your favor. Doing your homework before you ask for a raise is absolutely non-negotiable. You've got to make sure that you're going into a conversation with your boss knowing that you're ready for a raise, knowing that you're ready maybe for a promotion, but having asked yourself the hard questions and done the review of yourself as if you're your boss. Let's assume for the purpose of this video that you've watched some of the other ones and you know exactly what the promotion cycles are. You've already done the planning and prep with your boss. They already know that you're positioning yourself for a promotion or a raise, and that you're also performing at a level, and you're aware of the level you're performing at. You're performing at a level of excellence that makes people really appreciate the value that you're bringing to the organization or to your team. If you haven't done this already, go back and look at my How Do I Get a Raise at Work video, and go down into the comments and look at the free promotion readiness assessment. Do that while being brutally honest with yourself, and make sure that you let us know what your response to that is in the comments. We want to help you. We want to help you get ready to ask for this raise and get it. Let's assume you've done your homework. The most important thing that you can possibly do next is be able to clearly identify the actual value that you've been creating for your boss, for your team, for your company over the last 6, 12, 18 months. This isn't about tooting your own horn, and it shouldn't feel like that. This is about you having a realistic conversation around what you and your peers have accomplished together in terms of delivering value for your company. So you're not positioning yourself as being a superhero, you're positioning yourself as somebody who's aware of what the value is and aware of your role in contributing to it. Other thing to remember is your boss is juggling a lot. So whether your boss has 3 people, 30 people, 300 people reporting to them, they're juggling a lot, and they're also juggling their own lives. So make it easy for them. Remember to jog their memory about the great things that you've done. And when you're talking about the things that you've done, make sure that you're talking about them both in a qualitative and in a quantitative way. So you want to have great opinions that other people have had of you, and you also want to have some real numbers that you've managed to impact. So when I talk about quantitative, I'm looking at cost savings, cycle times, efficiency improvements, revenue impact. And the qualitative is really how people experience working with you, what people have said about you. Not that it's a popularity contest, you don't ever want to put yourself in that position, but that it is very clearly about the value that you're adding for other groups that you work with or for other people that you work with. The other important thing to do, and this is a little bit different from what most people might advise you, but I found it to be incredibly powerful, is to train your internal customers. So the idea of training our customers is a little bit novel. The specific things to do in here is to talk to 2 or 3 people who you regularly work with and ask them, how has my work made your life easier? Now, that seems like a little bit of a strange and awkward question to ask the first time you ask it. But the second or third time you ask it, it'll be met with a smile and a realization that that's important to you, making other people's lives easier who work with you, and they'll be able to respond to you and tell you how it is you're making their lives easier or better. They'll also probably come up with suggestions as to how you could do it even better. So they're opening a door for you to build a higher level of trust and a higher relationship with them and a better understanding of what value means for them. So it's an incredibly simple and incredibly important question to ask. So the game here isn't to make this into a popularity contest. You're not asking them whether or not they like you, and you're not really focusing on that. What you're focusing on is you're focusing on where you can add value for them, and you're making sure that they understand what that that's about. The other thing that you're doing is you're training your customers in here to appreciate that you focus on adding value. And when it comes to advocating for you, when it comes to a promotion or a raise, they're going to advocate for you. In other videos, I'll cover being an effective customer. And yes, that is a thing. And it's valuable to understand it from the other side as well. How to get over the awkwardness of having these conversations is they feel awkward at first, they always do. The best way to get over it is to do your homework and make sure that you're prepared for it. And also make sure that you're doing it as a collaborative conversation with your boss. You're not trying to convince them, you're not trying to win them over. What you're trying to do is you're agreeing that you're both working towards the same thing, which is you're working towards getting you promoted and allowing you to be able to take stuff off their plate. The fastest way to push past this discomfort is to reconnect with what matters to you and what's of value to you. And once you can articulate that to your boss, you're putting yourself in position for getting a raise, because ideally it aligns with what matters to them as well and what their focus is for adding value for the company. If your real commitment is adding value, building trust, and building and maintaining wonderful long-term relationships, then it's perfectly fine to say to people and to your boss, I do this on a regular basis. I like to check in with people every 3, 6, 9 months, or maybe every 12, 18 months, depending on your preference. And what you'll do is you'll show for them a level of consistency and a level of commitment to building powerful, strong relationships based on trust and based on mutual shared commitments. The fifth thing to look at, and I consider this to be the most important, is never ask for a raise without knowing who your boss's customer is. So they have an internal customer. They also may have external customers, but they have an internal customer who might be a senior manager, a director, or vice president, or it might even be the CEO. You need to understand who that customer is and what they expect of your boss. If you're asking for a raise, what you're asking to do is you're asking for more money because you have managed to take stuff off your boss's plate, because you have managed to innovate, because you have managed to add more value. If you understand what the value chain is, up the chain, and who your boss's internal customer is, you're positioning yourself much, much more strongly to be able to follow that value and understand how you contribute to it. If you don't understand what I refer to as the bigger picture, how your work contributes to the overall company goals, you're missing a tremendous opportunity to be able to align with your boss, to be able to build trust with them, and to be able to understand how their specific goals relate to yours. I've coached many teams through the process of understanding the value chain and understanding who their customer is. It's a game changer for people in terms of giving them context to be able to understand how to add value. And I will cover that in other videos. Most important thing to remember when you're asking for a raise and looking to get one is the value that you bring doesn't stop with your boss. It ripples out through the entire company. The more honest you can be with yourself, the more context you can give yourself to understand how to add value, the more effective you're going to be in asking for raises. I have a free gift that I think will help you with this process and make these conversations less awkward. It is the Promotion Readiness Assessment, www.getpromotedassessment.com. It's free, take it and get that raise, and best of luck.